Barry Green's Brahma Sports team. And Christian Fittipaldi has stopped.
Oh, and he's getting out of the car. He is frustrated.
From second place, Christian Fittipaldi walks away.
Look at that. He just walks away.
There is Paul Newman.
Look at that. You see that? He just, he's so frustrated. Can you imagine how Christian feels right now? He had one of the best results going this year.
Earlier this year, Michael Andretti, when he got by Christian to win in Detroit, said, don't you worry, Christian is going to win races. And he had a shot here today.
I think Christian needs to get maybe on the other side of that barrier where he's walking. That's a pretty fast part of the track.
There's Carl Haas.
He doesn't give us much, but Carl keeps those expressions. He's got to be frustrated, though. He's got a good second, third. Look at this.
Crossing the racetrack.
Right before Canada corner. I don't think that's a very smart spot to be walking like that right now. Get on the other side of that barrier. That's where Moore came down there. He'd take him right out. And there's still a lot of guys out there racing. Boy, you can tell that's just frustration right there. He doesn't care.
Well, in a form of motorsport I'm somewhat familiar with, Formula One, Christian Fittipaldi is about to become a lot lighter in the pocketbook after crossing the active racetrack. See the corner workers asking him to step over, and he does. Now here are the point situation. If the race ended now, Jimmy Vasser with a 2-point margin over Al Unser Jr., and that's because he moved up a spot when Christian Fittipaldi dropped out. As you watch Stefan Johansson presently in 5th position. A good run for him today. Johansson through turn 14 chasing Alex Zanardi for 4th place. We'll be back with the checkered flag coming shortly at Road America. There is Al Unser Jr. with Michael Andretti in 2nd place. Stay with us. The leaders flashing up the hill over the brow into the start-finish line. There will be 3 laps to go next time around in the foreground. Raul Boesel in the Brahma Sports Team Green machine pulls off. The car has finally expired. Al Unser Jr. flashes by in position to take his first victory of the season and jump right smack into the running for the PPG Cup once again. Don't forget, coming up next, Senior Golf from Jericho, New York. Final round coverage of the Northville Long Island Classic from Jericho, New York. Jim Kelly and Gary Koch standing by. We'll be getting to them as soon as possible after the checkered flag. As they go up the hill, let's go to Marty Reed in the pit lane.
Well, according to all the data that they're able to resource back here in the pits, they now think that it was an engine that let go as far as Christian Fittipaldi. Now what they're worried about is could the same problem be affecting Michael Andretti? Right next door is Raul Boesel. They have an ignition problem. That's what put them out.
There is Christian Fittipaldi, who cannot bear to look. He's looking off into the greenery that surrounds this 4-mile circuit while the racers run past him.
Well, of course, the frustration that he must be feeling, not only from driving his heart out all day, leading this race, but losing those points and how that's going to affect him in the championship. All of those things combined makes a long day. You just don't like to go out that late in the race with a great result in hand.
The order is Unser, Andretti, Rahal, Zanardi, and Johansson.
And of course, you know who's sitting at home, I assume, watching this is his uncle, Emerson Fittipaldi, who we wish our best to, but he's got to be happy with Al Unser Jr., his teammate, leading the race, but a little bit dejected of what happened to his nephew, Christian Fittipaldi.
Well, at the beginning of the day, we wondered who would have the combination that would reign supreme at Road America. And wonder of wonders, it appears it is the somewhat unloved Penske chassis with Mercedes power and Goodyear tires.
The only thing that all 4 of us got right was Goodyear tires, because I don't think any of us picked Little Al or the Penske chassis, and I don't know if anybody picked the Mercedes. We had a couple Fords and a couple of Hondas in there, so we were off by the package. And as we said before, I think that's one of the things that makes IndyCar racing so exciting right now, is trying to get that combination right.
Al Unser Jr. has stood by and watched as his old friend and rival, Mikey Andretti, as he calls him, surpassed Little Al, first tied him and then passed him in most wins among active drivers on the PPG IndyCar World Series. Well, now Al draws a little bit closer to Mike.
And you know what? These top 3 guys, Little Al, Michael, and Bobby Rahal, are all driving their hearts out right now. They're driving as hard as they can right now, trying to close on the guy in front of them, or Little Al keeping everybody behind them.
Now there's something else to consider, and we've been talking about it if you followed our qualifying coverage on ESPN2, and that is the fact that every year but one in the 14 previous runnings of this race, the winner came from the first 5 positions. The exception being Hector Rebacki in 1982, who won from 9th position. White flag, 4 miles to go for Al Unser Jr., who started the day in 15th and has come all the way to the front.
And I don't believe, the history books will have to show, I don't think anybody started this IndyCar race from that far back, and looks like he's poised to win.
Well, with this victory, if in fact he takes it, Al Unser Jr. will clinch the IndyCar Nations Cup for drivers from the United States. So that much has been decided, but there are several championships still to come. And certainly oh, we have a huge wreck.
Oh, I think that's Parker Johnstone. Parker Johnstone, I don't know what happened.
That is, in fact, Parker Johnstone.
That car. 2 cars upside, I don't know what's going on. 2 cars upside down in a day.
We understand there may have been contact with Scott Pruitt. Let's see if we can take another look at what happened as Al Unser Jr. continues on his way. This is on the rundown to
No, that's Paul Tracy. That's Paul Tracy down the inside. Paul clips him right there at the back. Taps him. They're trying to get through. Slides it sideways. Looks pretty harmless. Whoa, and just dug in the grass. Just must have been enough of a lip there to catch it.
Meanwhile, Tracy,
Al
Unser Jr., that's the race leader, has lost the engine.
No.
Can you believe this?
Oh, no.
Within sight of the checkered
Just
flag.
coming up the hill.
There's Michael Andretti. There is the Penske Pits. Roger Penske cannot believe what he is seeing, and perhaps neither can Michael Andretti, who takes the checkered flag of victory.
In sight of the flag. Unbelievable.
Now, corner workers are at Parker Johnstone's car. As you watch Al Unser Jr. and the smoking heap of his car, Parker Johnstone appears to be
a long trip down the other end. What a... Oh, it's got to be heartbreaking. What happened?
Well, Al said over the radio the engine let go right there in turn 12, so evidently it was catastrophic because we never saw anything on the telemetry. It's a shame. He drove a great race. We had a good car. As I said earlier, you know, you had to finish, and we didn't.
The guys upstairs were describing it like a shuttle launch.
Well, it went off big time, but nothing we can do about that. Race over.
All right, thanks, Roger. Jan?
Well, Michael Andretti has made it to victory lane. He's here. He's going to take off. Michael, can you in your wildest dreams think that this race would have worked out like this? It's the wildest one we've ever seen. What did you think when you saw the smoke from Al on the last lap?
I couldn't believe it. You know, I felt bad for Al because he did a good job. I don't know how. I told him in the beginning of the race that he'd be right there, and he was. But, you know, I guess I'll take it. There's been times when it's gone the other way for me.
I know you've had some bad luck, but this is a really big victory. 50th victory for Newman Haas for you. You said you wanted to do it for your sponsors here today, and you did it.
Yeah, that's right. You know, it's Texaco's race here, and it's another home race. So it's just unbelievable. So I'm just so happy.
Now, what about the gamut of emotions? Christian Fittipaldi running great. His engine blows up, and then you give him a ride back. That's got to be tough.
Yeah, I felt bad for him, too. He did a good job. You know, he just had his car set up a little bit better, and it was going to work out, but unfortunately the engine broke.
Michael Andretti, he comes home with a victory. Man, what a wild race it was today, guys.